Today's video, guys, I'll be sharing the important required documents by Home Office for a dependent visa application. We all know that on the 17th of August 2023, the requirement changed, and I've actually tried with this document that is required, and that's why I want to share this video with you, because I've been getting lots of questions about it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're joining me for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you all in our beautiful family. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. God bless you. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for all you do. Trust me, I appreciate from the depth of my heart. And if you're new to this channel, I create content on how you can migrate to the UK, jobs with visa sponsorship in the UK immigration updates, live in the UK, scholarships in the UK, like everything you can think about the UK. So if you're someone who is interested in such content, do hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're definitely going to be the very first person to see that video. So guys, before we dive right into today's video, please do like and share this video with your loved ones. Someone may benefit from it, because this is a regular questions I've been receiving since the requirement change for dependent visa. So if you're coming to the UK to work, or maybe you're coming for studies, dependent visa application ends this year. If you're coming for studies and you haven't applied for dependent visa, please guys, make sure you apply for it now, because from January 2024, those doing their MSc are not allowed to come with their dependents anymore. So if you have a dependent and you've already gotten your admissions, you've got your cards and everything, just go to apply for your visa now. Secondly, if you're coming to the UK as a skilled worker dependent, this particular requirement is for you. In as much as the UK government has put a stop to the student dependent visa, I think they're deliberating on the skilled worker dependent visa. We haven't gotten any clarification on that, but once you get your COS, or maybe you get your offer letter and everything, and you're ready to go for your visa application, please, if you have a family and you're coming on the skilled worker visa, please ensure you apply for each and every member of your family. Now, there are certain requirements you need as a dependent, because the UK government is doing a whole lot of things now to see how they can check to know who is actually a dependent and who is not a dependent, which is why I'm sharing this video with you. As at the 16th of August, this requirement wasn't there, but on the 17th, when the website was updated, the new rules came into effect and so on, we saw that you must be able to prove that either you are in a civil partnership or marriage that is recognized in the UK, so which is where your court marriage certificates comes in. Now, you have been living together in a relationship for at least 2 years when you applied. This was not there as at the 16th of August, so this is just something new that is making everybody panic, especially those who have been in touch with me. And for a few people who have advised and it's worked for them, and for a few people we actually feel their form together and it's actually worked for them. So I'm here to share the documents you need to prove your 2 years living together as a dependent and so on. But before I go into that, you need to be aware that if you're applying for a dependent visa outside the UK and on your COS there is no maintenance tick, you will need to put some money in your bank account. But if you're lucky, your employer has ticked the maintenance for you, you don't need to put any money in your bank account, because the maintenance that is ticked on your COS will cover for you and your family. So now, just as you can see on my screen, dependent visa financial requirement, whether any financial requirements apply will depend on the type of visa held by the main visa holder, which is why I talked about the study dependents. There is a different requirement, but this is for skilled worker dependents, which is for the care worker visa and so on. For example, when applying for a skilled worker dependent visa UK, it must be shown that the main visa holder or the applicant has the following: £285 for a partner. So for your husband or for your wife, you need to show that you have £285 for a minimum of 28 days in your bank account. Then for a child dependent, you need to show £315 for one child, which is maybe the first child, then £200 for each additional child. So if you have 4 children, the first child, you need to show £315 in your bank account for a minimum of 28 days. Then the other 3 children, you need to show £200 each. And this has to be in your bank account for a minimum of 28 days, which I usually advise that if you can have it in your bank account for at least 35 days is good, because the exchange rate fluctuates, so you don't want to be caught in between. Now, this is a financial requirement in a situation whereby your certificate of sponsorship does not have maintenance tick. But if the maintenance is ticked for you and your dependent, then you don't really need to show any proof of funds. So if you're securing a job in the UK, you're in touch with your employer, please kindly ask them, please can you help me take the maintenance? So that covers for me and my family. With that, once your certificate of sponsorship, which is your COS, is out, you're going for your visa direct without having to wait for another 28 days. Like, we know that the certificate of sponsorship expires in 3 months, and most employers are aware of this. And in order to support you to move to the UK to work with them, they just take the maintenance just to make life very easy for you and your entire family. So now, a lot of people have been asking about the important documents to show to Home Office that you have lived with your dependents for at least 2 years, as required on the Home Office website when applying for your dependent visa. Initially, when this new requirement came, I was like, what can we use? And I thought about, I've been in the UK for almost 13 years now, and there are some important documents that when they ask you, you know how to get it. So I thought of it, and I was like, okay, let me try with the first applicant, let me try with the second, and it's been working for everybody. So which is why I'm sharing this video. So when they said you need to show an additional document to show that you've lived together for a minimum of 2 years or for 2 years. Now, apart from the marriage certificate, maybe having your both addresses on, that is on its own as a marriage certificate, but you need these 2 other documents which you can use your hospital letter. So now, getting a hospital letter in the UK, you need to request for your doctor and say, I am going for this and that, and I need a letter to show that this is my address and my husband's address, and your doctor will give you the letter in the UK. It is valid in the UK. So the same way it is valid in the UK. So if you're in any part of the world and you're applying for a dependent visa and you need that document to show that you have been together for 2 years, all you need to do is to ring your hospital or go to your hospital and speak to your doctor for them to give you a reference letter, or maybe get any of your hospital appointment letter that is not less than 3 months and attach to your documents. Now in the UK, for instance, when they ask you for a document to show your proof of address, they need a document that is not less than 3 months. So you have to be within that range as well, even if you're in overseas and you have requested for this document from your doctor to show that you and your husband or your wife have lived in that address for a minimum of 2 years, or maybe for up to 2 years. Now that is the first document you can attach. It is acceptable. We have used that and it has worked for most of our clients. Now the second document you can attach to it could be your utility bill. Maybe in my country they say NEPA bill or whatever. So if you have got your name on your utility bill, because in the UK as well, when you are asked to bring a document to prove your address or whatever, your utility bill is acceptable. So provided your utility bill is within 3 months, they will accept it for anything you're applying for in the UK. So same is applicable to you if you're in overseas and the Home Office have asked you to bring an additional document to prove that both of you have been together for 2 years. If you have a utility bill together that has both of your names on it, it is still acceptable. You can use that. That is the second document that you can use. So I'm going to give you other options so you can at least get 2 from this option. So the first one I mentioned was your hospital letter, and the second one is your utility bill. Now the third document that you don't need to provide all of these documents. All you need to do is just to choose to look out for the 2 that will be easy for you to get. Then go ahead and get it. But remember, it has to be valid within the last 3 months. Anything above that will be refused by Home Office. So make sure that it's valid within that time. The next document you should be looking at when you are asked to prove that you've been in a relationship and lived together for 2 years should be your bank statement. Now, in the UK, when you're asked for a proof of address or anything, your bank statement is very important. Once you print off your bank statement and use it, it is acceptable. Whatever you're applying for, provided I can see that this is your address, this is where you have lived for the number of years or maybe months they are looking at for, they will give you whatever you're applying for. So same is also applicable if you're in overseas. So if your bank statements, maybe you bank with any bank and you've got different addresses, I would advise you go to your bank and make sure that you sort out your addresses in the bank. I remember even me when I got married, I forgot to change my bank address. I think there was something that we were doing, and I remember that I have not changed my bank address after I got married. Like, it took me like almost 2-3 years. I didn't even remember. So I know some people could forget as well that even after they are married, their bank details is still at their family address, which was what happened to me. But all you need to do now is for you to go to the bank, if you're in the process of filling your dependent form, and look at if your address corresponds with your husband's address, or if you are the husband, look at if the both of you have got same address. But if you haven't got same address, just let your bank update your recent address. In the UK, I think they will need some documents to show that you're living in that particular address. Then you give to them and it will be updated. I don't know what is required in any part of the world you live, but in the UK, you just go to your bank and sometimes they'll ask for utility bill to show that you actually live in this address, and once you provide it, they will update it for you. So once you do that in your country, then you cannot print off your bank statement, but having in mind that if the maintenance box is ticked yes, you don't need to bother if you don't have any money in your bank account, because the maintenance ticked yes has covered you and your entire family. But all the UK Home Office wants to say is you've lived in the same address for a minimum of 2 years. So you can use your bank statement to do that. Then the fourth but not the least is your contract. If you live in a rented apartment and you have a contract from your landlord, or even if it's your own house, and you notice you have not added your husband or your wife's name to that property, I would say if you're applying for your UK visa, see how you can add their names to it, because like I said, it's easy to forget just after you've gotten married that there are some documents you will need to change to your recent address. It's very easy, especially for women, because maybe we are kind of used to our family address and all of a sudden something has changed and you don't even click on time that you need to change your address. So you can use your property document. So if it's your own house, then you can add your wife's or your husband's name to it, and that shows that you have been together for 2 years. However, if it's a rented apartment and you have a contract signed with a landlord, all you need to do is to let the landlord know your wife has moved in or your husband has moved in and their name was not on the contract. Please, can they add it for you? And once they do that, and you can use that document to show that you've been living together in a relationship for at least 2 years when you are applying for your visa. So these questions, like I said, is a question that have been coming to me all the time. With these documents I attached to my client's application, none of them have been refused a UK visa, except maybe the Home Office requires more documents and it may not be this one. So, but for dependent partner, this is a very important document you need to attach to your application form. And also do not forget to attach your marriage certificate. And if you have some pictures together, I would say even if it's not requested or it's not required from Home Office, just add. How many years ago when I was applying for my visa, even applying back then, no pictures was asked, but I added my pictures just to make sure that I don't have any reason why Home Office will refuse myself and my husband our visas. So this is a very important document you need to make sure you get before you apply for your UK visa. Don't assume that because you've got same address on your marriage certificate, the UK Home Office will understand. No, they don't operate like that. If you have been asked to provide additional documents, yes, you have to provide that additional document, which you can choose any two out of this four: your utility bill, your hospital letter, your bank statement, and your contract. your house contract, your accommodation contract. You can choose any two out of these four to provide to the UK Home Office so that your dependent visa will be approved. And you don't come back to me to say, Fajira, I applied for a dependent visa. Hey, I didn't add this one, I didn't add this, and I was refused. Guys, it's very sad when you apply for a visa and you're refused. Remember, if you have used a COS to apply for that visa, you can't reuse that COS because it is refused. As maybe the Home Office asks you to withdraw the application, maybe due to one or two documents they need. But if that visa is refused, you need a new certificate of sponsorship. And most employers will say, oh, we've paid for that, we can't issue you a new one, and you have to start struggling again. Except maybe you meet a very good employer that will say, okay, pay me the issuance fee, then I will give you a new one. And remember, the issuance fee is in thousands of pounds as well. So you have to be very watchful. You have to be very careful when you're applying for your visa. So you give 0% chances of your visa being refused this year and beyond. So guys, we've actually come to the end of this video, and I hope you find this video helpful. And if you do like and share with your friends and loved ones. Someone may benefit from it. And also, if you're yet to subscribe to join our beautiful family, please hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're definitely going to be the very first person to see that video. Until I see you in my next video, guys, do take care and have a lovely day. Bye bye for now.